What you need is this. Let's start from the beginning. What is an alter ego? In layman's terms, it is simply a version of you that you created to be able to do what you wouldn't be able to do easily without it, or be what you couldn't be without it. If you created an alter ego, it means that without that alter ego, without that persona you created, without that fake identity you created, you'll not be able to be who you want to be, you'll not be able to do what you want to do. An alter ego is a fake persona that does not exist. It is a mask. It is a lie. And that is not what you need. You do not need an alter ego. I'm Lady Doris C, and I am a destiny strategist. I wasn't always clear about who I was or why I was here. From the outside, my life looked fine. I did the right things. I followed the expected paths. I tried to make sense of life through achievement, discipline, faith, relationships, and effort. Yet inside, something felt off. I felt unfulfilled, uninspired, disconnected from myself, like I was living a life that didn't quite belong to me. That inner dissonance became the beginning of my work. Today, I'm a destiny strategist, an identity advocate, and what I often describe as a spiritual midwife. I help men and women rebuild their lives from the inside out, and by uncovering who they truly are, discovering why they were created, and aligning their lives with that truth. I don't tell people who to become. I help them give birth to who they already are. So, you do not need an alter ego. If you want to create an alter ego or are thinking about creating it, it means only one thing. You don't like who you are right now. You don't like what you see in the mirror. You don't like what you have to work with. And that's a good thing. Yes, it's not bad. It is actually a good thing. It means that something inside of you, from your soul, from the depth of you, is requiring you to come up higher. It's asking you for more. And there's a gap between what you can do now and who you are now. Maybe you can actually perform on a stage of 30,000 people, but that is what you can do now. But who you are now can barely even speak to your family in the living room when everybody's there. So your soul wants to be something that it's already in. Your soul wants to have a form of expression to be able to bring out what is already inside of it, and that is who you actually are. But what you can do right now and who you are presenting yourself right now cannot align with, or does not align with, what your soul knows to be true. And as a result, usually people create an alter ego. And when we are in that situation and we don't know what else to do, we usually resort to faking it till you make it, like they say, wearing a mask just to show up anyway. All of that is what an alter ego does for you. Again, you do not need an alter ego. What you need is to build an ironclad identity and to activate your higher self. Build an ironclad identity and activate your higher self. I would have said create your higher self as opposed to creating an alter ego. But I wouldn't say that, because to create your higher self, it means that it doesn't exist. But your higher self already exists. You are not creating it when it already exists in you. You activate it. You activate your higher self through identity switching and identity building. Identity switching is not code switching. It is not becoming who you are not. It is becoming who you were meant to be. It is going back to who you already are. It's remembering who you were and operating from that version. We have who we were told to be and who we are conditioned to be. From environment, from culture, and from family. There's one version of you. You were told to be that. You were conditioned to be that. Your environment conditioned you. Your culture conditioned you. Your family conditioned you. Your traditions conditioned you. Your society conditioned you. The school you went to, your friends conditioned you. And then you have another version of you. That is who you have been created to be. That is your divine identity. The person you were before the world told you who to be. For example, God might have sent a healer to the world, but the environment they were raised in might have switched that and brought forth a broken person. God might have sent a prophet, but what we see today is a totally different person, a totally opposite of that, an unaware person, and probably a chronic liar. So you identity switch by going back to who you were made to be. Going back to who you were made to be is a journey. But the first thing to do is name what your true identity is and believe it is you. For example, if you've determined that you are a prophet and not a liar, you begin to believe that that is who you are. You begin to believe it, believe, and make sure it reflects on how you speak of yourself. You begin to say to yourself and even to others that you are not a liar and that you are a prophet rather. And you start moving and thinking and operating and living as a prophet. You name it, you believe it. You name what it is that you actually are, that you know that is your true divine identity, and then you believe it internally and you begin to operate from that. Determining your divine identity to even know what to switch to is what my program is about. And you can join Destined program, link in the description. Being able to determine the divine identity that you're actually going to switch to. Because we have the identity that the world has created for us that we are all operating from, which is usually a challenge and which is usually wrong. But then we have our divine identity. The first step for you not to have an alter ego, for you not to create one, for you not to design one, for you not to need one, is to actually create your step into your divine identity, which is the identity switching. Remember, we said it is build an ironclad identity, and then number two is to activate your higher self. And we are saying that for you to be able to activate your higher self, you need to do two things. You need to, first of all, identity switch, and you need to identity build. And we are saying for you to actually switch from the fake identity or from the wrong identity to the true one, you have to believe it, you have to name it, or you have to name it first and then believe it. You have to name what the true identity is. If your persona or the identity that is wrong that you have been presenting as is that you are a liar, and the true identity that you have been given from God, from heaven, from creation is that you are a prophet, your job is now to believe that you are a prophet and then name that you are a prophet and call yourself that you are a prophet and then begin to live that way and walk that way. But then sometimes you don't even know what the true identity is. You might know that you are a liar, but you might not know what the true identity is. You might not know what you have been called to do. That is part of what Destined program is about, which you can check in the description box. So when you've achieved the identity switching, you go to the next step, which is the identity building. In identity building, when you know and name what the identity you truly are, and you switch to that, which is coming back to truth, that will give you the information you need to know so that you know what you're building. For you to build an identity, you need to do that from information. You need to do that from knowledge. And for that to be right, the information and the knowledge has to be founded in truth. And the truth is found when your identity switching from the lying identity, from the wrong identity to the right identity. You build upon that knowledge by learning all that comes with your true identity and start practicing it and incorporating it into your life. For example, if you're a prophet, what do prophets do? So do your research to find out exactly what prophets do and start doing that. Identity switching is the agreement to the truth. The truth is what you were made to be, not what you were conditioned to be. Again, the truth is what you are made to be, not what you were conditioned to be. And identity switching, it is agreement to that truth. Identity building is the work you do in service with the agreement you made. So if you have agreed that this is what you are, you switch from the lie to the truth, which is what you actually meant to be. Then you begin the identity building work, which is you working in service to that agreement. So if the truth is that you're not a liar, you're a prophet, then you start building the identity, which is the work you do in service to that agreement, which is you start doing the work of a prophet, acting like a prophet, talking like a prophet, behaving like a prophet, in service to the agreement that truly you are a prophet, not a chronic liar. Identity building is a lifelong work. You build upon it, you get better at it, you add to it. And sometimes you take away until you have actualized. It is stack upon stack, level upon level. It's like academia. There's kindergarten, elementary, high school, senior high, university, the master's level, the PhD level. You even get a job and become the teaching assistant. You become the assistant lecturer. You become the associate professor. You become the professor. You see, just like that. You keep building upon it. So identity building is a lifelong work. You can switch at the very time you have come with that agreement, but then with the building of the identity, even if you figure out this is what you are meant to be, it is the goal is now self-actualization. And because there are layers to you, there are depths to you. When you are able to do step one, you fly with it. And while flying with step one, you see step two, you keep on going. It is step by step. And the bad part is that many don't even have kindergarten expertise. We live in the world when it comes to identity. We live with people and we operate with people that do not even have kindergarten expertise of identity. That is, they haven't even started at all. They haven't even started at all. Sorry if you're hearing a sound from my mic. It's probably my earring. I don't know if the sound is affecting it. Identity switching and identity building are where you activate your higher self. Your higher self is your most actualized self. In fact, I dare say your most actualized self per season. That is why I said that it is a step by step work, because you might be great at something right now, but it is for that level. By the time you activate your higher self right now for this season could be not lying, not being a chronic liar. The next higher self for the next season is to be able to tap into your intuition and your instinct and your gut, that it's almost you tap into it. And maybe the next step could be that it's not just that you have tapped into your gut or your instincts. It is that it is so accurate that you've never been wrong, or you are never wrong anymore. You see, step by step. You activate both by living like your higher self. In fact, your highest self, like a normal way of life. To activate your higher self and step into this level of identity building and identity switching is not something you do on a Sunday or on a Friday when you feel like it. Did you hear that? The cockerel. It's not something you do when you feel like it sometimes, some days. No, it is something that you live like a normal way of life on a daily. Your higher self becomes your normal way of life. You don't tell the truth when there's a camera on. You don't have integrity when somebody's watching. It becomes who you are at all times. You are not a prophet some days, and then some days you are not. Whatever it is that you are, whatever it is your true identity is, and you step into it, you become that 247 every night, every morning, every afternoon, while you're sleeping, when you are awake, when you are tired, when you're weak, when you're happy, when you're well fed, when you are feeling your best. That is truly when the higher self or the highest self work has actually become your baseline. It becomes your normal way of life on a daily. For example, your higher self could be to be the truth teller, and now you lie a lot and you are known for that. So you have to come into agreement with that truth of who you are, which is that you are a truth teller, and don't accept anything else from you or others that doesn't align with your agreement. That is identity switching. Did you get that? Knowing that you are a truth teller instead of a liar, even though you always lie, you come into agreement with the fact that you're now a truth teller, and you don't accept anything else from you or from other people. That's very powerful. So which means you will never speak to yourself as though you are a liar. You would always tell yourself that you are a prophet. You always tell yourself whatever it is that you have agreed is your true identity, and you hold other people to that as well. So you don't just say it, your character will have to reflect that. And as your character reflects that and you say that, when somebody comes around and they're like, oh, that's a liar, you will not accept it from them. You will verbally say, I am not a liar, I am a prophet. That is identity switching. Then when you are done with that and you begin the work of being a truth teller every day, for example, you can start with knowing the common lies you tell and knowing why you tend to lie, and begin telling the truth, or even going back to the previous lie you told and correcting it. That is now doing the work of being a prophet. You have decided that you are no longer a liar, you are now a prophet. That is identity switching. And when you start doing the work of being a prophet, that is identity building. Identity switch, identity building. Make sense? So you switch to build. You switch to build. The more you do this daily, the more you are activating your higher self, your highest self. In that process is where the ironclad identity is born. Remember what we said in the beginning. You don't need an alter ego. What you need is an ironclad identity. And to be able to get an ironclad identity, you need to activate your higher self. And in order to activate your higher self, you need to identity switch so you can identity build. There are two things you need to do. And to identity switch means to come into agreement with the truth of what you were actually made to be. And to identity build is to do the work in service to that agreement. Make sense now? So now we are saying that an ironclad identity is opinion tight, environment resistant. Nothing can go in, nothing can rust it, nothing can burn it, nothing can destroy it, nothing can break it. Absolutely nothing can shake it. An ironclad identity should be our baseline in this world. In fact, every single one of us. It's not just something that those who are watching this or listening to this podcast should have. It's not for just women or for men or for a very few group of people. The world should actually live on a baseline of ironclad identity. In fact, we should all live on a baseline of self-actualization. But sadly, that is not the case, because in this world, we are all majoring on the minor and minoring on the major. An ironclad identity is what makes you to not be fazed by any situation, not be shaken, not be broken by opinions, by peer pressure, by bullying, by abuse, by lack, by poverty, by breakups, by divorce, by social media, by loss, by FOMO, fear of missing out, or all the entire thing going on in the world right now. It is an ironclad identity that will make sure, regardless of what is going on, you are opinion tight, environment resistant, peer pressure locked. Nothing can break you, nothing can shake you. It doesn't mean you don't have emotions, it doesn't mean you cannot get hurt, but those things are not actually what breaks you. They can't even break you. They might hurt you, they might make you sad, you might feel something, but no. You become unstoppable, unbreakable. It is simply an indomitable spirit, an unbreakable soul, a limitless mind, an unstoppable person. This is the foundation to build everything else on. Whether you want to do whatever it is in your career, in your life, in your family, whatever it is, if you don't have ironclad identity as a baseline, whatever it is you want to do, entrepreneurship, health, education, academia, nothing else can stand without the foundation of an ironclad identity. If you don't have that, you you run the risk of losing everything and yourself, especially yourself. It is a difference between building on a rock versus building on sand. Build on a rock by building an ironclad identity. With such an identity, you will not need an alter ego. You see how we are back to the beginning? With the identity that is ironclad, you will not need an alter ego. Alter egos have an underlying theme. Everyone that has an alter ego is as a result of a lack of self-worth, a lack of self-esteem, a low self-esteem, a lack of identity. Is why would make a person to even want to build an ironclad identity. Well, that would make a person want to build an alter ego. And they might even say, oh, it's just confidence, or it makes me this, whatever it is you want to create as a result of an alter ego is because of something you believe you lacked. But why create a fake persona when you can build a real you? Regardless of how big and famous anyone is, if they have an alter ego, this is the underlying message. No confidence, no self-esteem, no self-worth, an identity that is not strong. In fact, check anyone who uses an alter ego, especially outside of the time when they put on that persona of an alter ego. Check them. You will see who they really are. And usually it's not a pretty sight. It's part of the persona and challenges of independent or powerful women. It's women especially who have this persona of independence, powerful, whatever it is. They are usually the ones who struggle with this the most. They look in charge. They look strong in the boardroom. They look like nothing can hurt them, but yet they are the ones that could be easily deceived by just anybody. And you would wonder, why could they have fallen for that? Make no mistake, they ask the same question of themselves. They ask themselves, how could I have fallen for that? And that is because the independence and the strong personality was an alter ego that they built, was a defense mechanism that they built around themselves, around their hearts. They are not really that strong. Sometimes very tough women who are their identities are not very strong. And as a result, they can easily be hurt and deceived and they're living in regret. But so many times you can actually be very calm, cool, soft, and you look like we are how do I put this now? You don't look like you are strong and independent. You don't look like you're powerful. You might not look it, but you are. Until people come to you, come close to you, get to speak to you, then they go, oh, this person is not actually who I think they are. We cannot actually just go in and break through just like that. There are no loopholes to use at all. So if your persona of independence and strength is a mask that you wear, with the right person pulling the right levers, they can poke holes at it. They can break you. They can hurt you. And then you'll wonder, how is it that strong, powerful, independent women who are powerful in the boardroom, in the business places, in their careers, are getting hurt and are at the receiving end of people who are not even up to their qualification or their standards, is because they did not do the work of taking their time to build the internal persona, the identity that is strong on the inside as much as it shows on the outside. So that when you come in, you can't poke holes at it. Okay. You know, the solution to this is because when you wear a mask, when you have the alter ego, it's like putting a bandage on a wound, right? Instead of treating the wound. And do what you may. Become rich and famous with an alter ego, become very known, and you will still be that wounded person, but with money. And wounds grow worse, fester, turn into something else, and affect other parts of the body. And the painful thing is that it can destroy everything, including you again. It will not just destroy things and people, it will destroy you too, hurt you, and it can literally kill you. So the goal is treat the wound, that is your identity, and don't choose the band-aid, that is the alter ego. Focus on the cake, that is the identity, and not the icing on the cake, that is the alter ego. Because without the icing, you can still enjoy a delicious cake. A well decorated icing will not hide a bad cake or the fact that there is no cake. Focus on the skin and not the makeup, because you will live with your skin much more than your makeup. Focus on the hair and the scalp and not the wig. Focus on the fitness and not the waist trainer. I believe you get the point now. So, working on this gives you unbeatable confidence, a healthy self esteem, a self worth that skyrockets through the roof, and palpable self love. You have a fearlessness and an unstoppable spirit that looks like you were born with it. And not working on this gives you the opposite: low self esteem, low self worth that is in the toilet, a self love that is either fake or non existent. You might believe this, or maybe some people might not believe this factually, but it shows in your life. For example, do you want a better job? Yes? Okay. Have you gone for it? Have you applied? Or you're afraid of rejection? Do you want a raise? Yes. Okay. Have you asked for it? Even if they said no, did you walk away? because you said, oh, I want to raise, or I walk away. Did you actually walk away? And are you willing and able to walk away when you ask for a raise and you don't get it? Or are you scared of walking away? That's a lack of confidence and a lack of self esteem, or low self worth, and a dead identity. More example, are you still in a relationship you shouldn't be in? Accepting whatever because, you know, well, that's low self esteem. That's low self esteem too. Do you find it difficult walking away from your abuser or a situation that is hurting you? Do you let people walk all over you, cross your boundaries? That's an identity issue. Are you a people pleaser? How quick are you to cut people off? Or do you rather let people poke at your heart to hurt your soul and your mind, hurting, breaking, and abusing you because you feel like you've invested so much, or you've given so much, or you've lost so much, or you feel like you can't find someone else? Do you do that? Do you let people just poke at you and walk all over you? That's a picture of self-hatred, in case you did not know. Oh yes. You don't have to do anything else to show that you actually hate yourself and have no atom of self-respect for yourself. And that is the opposite of having an ironclad identity. You can't live like that. You shouldn't. Nothing changes if nothing changes. Draw a line and say enough. You can join the Destined program here to start that shift. Okay? I help ambitious men and women who want to gain clarity about who they are, about what they are here to do, and how to make the life and relationship decisions that shape their future. If you've ever wondered, why do I feel lost? What is my purpose? How do I know what I'm meant to do? Why do I keep making the wrong relationship decisions? How do I stop people pleasing and start trusting myself? You are in the right place. On this podcast, the channel, wherever it is you're tuned into, we explore identity, we explore purpose, we explore self-worth, self-trust, relationships, personal growth, and the mindset shifts required to build a life that actually feels aligned. I believe that most people are not broken. I believe that they are misaligned. When you gain clarity about who you are, everything changes. I believe that. Your confidence, your decisions, your work, your relationships, and your direction. Everything starts from gaining clarity on who you are, which is the ironclad identity. In that case, back to what we talked about today, you would not need an alter ego. My goal is simple: to help you stop drifting, stop settling, and start building a life that fits who you truly are. That's really my goal. And if this spoke to you, I want you to discover your true identity. And identities, if you want to do that, to discover your true identity switch, and start your identity building journey, join Destined to book a complimentary call with me. Let's figure out what that looks like for you. It will enable you to work with me one-on-one. And this is not a course, it's a full program. It's a full 3 months program and 6 months of mentorship after. You work directly one-on-one with me, and you have full-time access to me. So begin your Destined journey immediately. Go to the description box and you can book a call straight away, so that we can just figure out what this is for you. And you can go to the description box again. If you don't want to book a call straight away, you would see where to know about the program. You can read about the program, or you can read about the program before you book a call, or you can book a call straight away and we can talk about it. Okay? Remember, live on mission, live on purpose, live as your highest self. Bye.